In this video, we are talking about a very fast-growing and well-located town in the greater Austin area called Buda, Texas. And in this video, our goal is to help you arrive at your own conclusion as to whether or not Buda, Texas is right for you. If that's the reason you clicked on the video, stay tuned. Hey again, everybody, this is Frank with a team of agents at JB Goodwin Realtors. Every week we put out tons of new content about living in Austin, Texas, the good and the bad, so consider subscribing if you haven't already and ring the little bell to get notified whenever we put out a new video. In addition to that, we love the reach outs we get now all the time from people just like you in need of our help when relocating to Austin, Texas. So keep them coming, don't hesitate, whether you're 9 days away or 90, shoot our team a text, send us an email, give us a call any day of the week, any time of day. We've got your back when moving to Austin, Texas. So yes, in this video, we are talking about Buda, Texas, a very fast-growing place well located just outside of Austin, Texas. And interestingly enough, I wouldn't necessarily call Buda, Texas a hotspot, but as it currently stands, it's looking like it is soon going to become one. Right now, Buda, Texas has a population of right around 16,000 people. And for a long time, to many people, Buda, Texas has just been thought of as a commuter town. But in recent years, as it has rapidly evolved, Buda, Texas has a lot more to offer than just that. So in this video, we are going to talk about the things to do in Buda, Texas, the schools, the safety, its location, its affordability, so on and so forth. So without wasting more time, let's get right to it. For starters, let's talk about the location of Buda, Texas. And of all the things we are going to touch on in this video, I will say that its location is perhaps the strongest thing, the best thing that Buda, Texas has going for it. So Buda, Texas is actually going to be right around 15 to 20 miles from the heart of downtown Austin, making that drive only roughly 20 minutes, depending on traffic and of course depending on where in Buda you live and where in downtown Austin you're trying to get to. And one of the reasons why it shocks me that Buda, Texas isn't more of a hotspot or a boomtown, if you will, is because so many of those places in the greater Austin area that are so popular and so in demand are easily going to be 30 minutes from downtown, 40 minutes from downtown, and in some cases like Liberty Hill or Georgetown, closer to an hour from downtown Austin. So in the case of Buda, Texas, you are exceptionally well located. And in addition to that, I will add, if you are relocating to Austin, Texas for those tech jobs in North Austin, you are going to be about 40 minutes on average, or about 28 or 29 miles from Buda, Texas, since it is going to be south of downtown Austin. And as I mentioned, the tech corridor is going to be north. Moving right along, we are going to talk about the schools in Buda, Texas. And in my opinion, this isn't necessarily going to be a pro in favor of Buda or necessarily a con against Buda, Texas. And the reason why is because according to niche.com, which likes to ironically give schools letter grades, it gave the district in Buda, Texas called the Hayes Consolidated Independent School District a letter grade of a B-. So obviously it's not going to be one of the worst school districts in the greater Austin area, but it's not going to be one of the best in the greater Austin area either. Those are going to look more like either the Eanes Independent School District, which is going to be smaller near the Westlake Hills, very expensive real estate, or it's going to be one of the two Leander Independent School District or the Round Rock Independent School District. Now, what I like about the Hayes Consolidated Independent School District is its size. It's not going to be a powerhouse necessarily like Leander or Round Rock, which each serve around 40,000 students, nor is it going to be as small, say, as the Eanes Independent School District, which serves about 9 or 10,000. The Hayes Consolidated Independent School District is on average going to serve around 20,000 students, which makes it a mid-sized school district. And of course, again, with a letter grade of a B-, it is fairly respectable. It's not going to consistently rank as one of the best, but it's not necessarily going to be a bad option for your children either. But then again, you know, if that is the top of your priority list, maybe Buda, Texas isn't right for you. Up next, we are going to talk about the crime regarding Buda, Texas. And unfortunately, in my opinion, I would consider this a con that is working against Buda, Texas, at least compared to its competition of much more in-demand popular suburbs or towns in the greater Austin area. So according to Neighborhood Scout, which is one of my favorite websites that just gives good analytics and statistics and data regarding the safety and crime of different places in the greater Austin area, in Buda, Texas, you have a 1 in 48 chance, of 1 in 48 probability of being involved in either a property or a violent crime, which makes Buda, Texas have a higher crime rate than 71% of the state of Texas, which is a statistic that definitely caught my eye. And I'll be honest with you, you're not going to be sleeping with one eye open in Buda, Texas, but it is going to be less safe, statistically at least, than some other places like Hutto, Texas, or Leander, Texas, so on and so forth. So in regards to it not being necessarily a hotspot, we might be starting to figure out why that is. It's not going to be a super dangerous place, but now that you're looking at the schools and now that you're looking at the safety, people relocating to Austin, Texas with families, a majority of the people that we help, it just might not be the right fit for you. Now, real quickly, before moving on, drop a comment down below for us to get involved with. If we've been providing any value for you, consider liking the video as it helps our channel grow. Remember to subscribe, and lastly, share this video with anyone you know who's wanting to learn more about living in Austin, Texas. Okay, moving right along, we are now going to talk about the affordability of Buda, Texas, which I'd imagine a majority of you have been waiting to hear about. And in my opinion, this is absolutely a pro in favor of Buda, Texas. So as it currently stands, over the past year and change, the median home price in Buda, Texas has been right around $400,000, which is pretty amazing if you ask me. I mean, at least relative to the real estate market in Austin, Texas. So many places, Dripping Springs, Liberty Hill, Cedar Park, Texas, so on and so forth, are going to be easily north of $500,000. And don't get me wrong, as it currently stands, about the past month or two of inventory, the past month or two of the average home sale in Buda, Texas, that has actually been between $480,000 and perhaps $500,000. So it is already creeping up to be on par with a lot of these other more popular suburbs and their median home prices. But over the past year, as prices have fluctuated and gone up and down, that median has been in the low 400s. So in regards to the greater Austin area and people wanting to relocate here, and perhaps they're first-time buyers or they don't have a whole lot of budget to really stretch, but they want to be near at least Austin, Texas, and in Buda's case, very near, that price is going to be pretty intriguing. It's going to be pretty attractive. And so if you have been doing your homework, if you have been home shopping, if you have been on Zillow and all these sites just looking at different areas, and you might be getting discouraged with how expensive Austin, Texas is getting, rest assured you have places like Buda and others that are still going to be on the more affordable spectrum. Lastly, regarding Buda, Texas, we are now going to talk about the things to do. And for those of you who don't know, Buda, Texas dubs itself the outdoor capital of Texas. So for the longest time, you have this giant place called Cabela's, which is this, if you will, picture in your head a Walmart, but for outdoor activities, right? Fishing, hunting, things of that nature, pun intended. So that is going to be its strong suit. You're going to have a number of public parks and just things to do outdoors. But in addition to that, in recent years, as I mentioned, Buda, Texas has really been evolving. So what that looks like nowadays is that you're going to have your beautiful historical downtown district. It's going to have a number of boutique shops for you to slip in and out of. It's going to have breweries, which are growing rapidly in Buda, Texas. It's going to have farmers markets and a lot of things like that, which really make living in Buda, Texas not so boring anymore, not so much just a commuter town anymore, because once upon a time, if you lived in Buda, Texas and you wanted things to do outside of outdoorsy nature-based things to do, you would be driving into downtown Austin. But now it's starting to have its own things to do where you don't even have to leave Buda anymore. You can enjoy your weekend, enjoy your day, enjoy your week in Buda, Texas, with a number of things like that to do in Buda, Texas, which are going to be even more things as it continues to evolve, as it continues to grow, as its population rapidly increases. So just keep that in mind if you're interested in Buda, Texas, but you're worried about being just a little bit bored. So there you have it. With its location, with its things to do, with its affordability, Buda, Texas might be the perfect place for you. Or with its schools or with its crime rates and things of that nature, Buda, Texas might not make as much sense to you. So whether it is Buda, Texas, whether it's Leander, Texas, Dripping Springs, Texas, South Austin, West Austin, anything in between, that is what we are here for, helping people just like you relocate to Austin, Texas, making that move as smooth as possible and finding the right place for you. But the only way we can do that is by you reaching out to us. So again, don't hesitate, whether you're 9 days away or 90, reach out to our team, whether you shoot us a text, send us an email, give us a call any day of the week, any time of day. And again, we put out tons of new content every week about living in Austin, Texas, the good and the bad. So consider subscribing if you haven't and ring that little bell to get notified whenever we put out any video. Comment down below, consider liking it if we've been providing any value for you. Share it with anyone you know. And until the next one, you guys, my name is Frank. This is Living in Austin, Texas, and we will absolutely catch you later.